Okay, good afternoon everybody. I'm Alex, and this is Richard, if you haven't guessed already. And we've come today from Meltwater to kind of start you off on what social media listening platforms are, what their uses are, and a bit around social media and the whole idea of that. So first of all, Meltwater is part of the Meltwater group. If you haven't heard of us, we're a SaaS, or software as a service company. Right across the world, we've got over 18,000 clients in various different means, and we have, I think it's 50 offices in over 20 different countries, so we're fairly well established, and there's 6 different parts to the group, and one of those is of course Meltwater Buzz, which we're going to talk about today. So, just want to start off a little bit of an introduction into where socials come from and where it's going to. So this is what we've seen traditionally, and I guess a lot of you guys have seen this as well, is what brand communication, how it was in the past. So, you know, the company was there, they were advertising, putting out press releases, communication departments, and talking to the consumers. And it was very much one way. They pushed the information out, and then the consumers would, you know, talk about it amongst their immediate friends and peers and relatives. And that's where it would stop. And, you know, very little would it go anywhere beyond that. Now, with the introduction of social media and the internet, which a great introduction to, of how big and how far that's going to spread. We've got all these social media sites, Google, you know, forums, Facebook, Twitter, and now consumers and companies, they're a lot closer together. There's a lot more people speaking to each other, they're going online, they're no longer just talking to their close you know, friends and relatives. When they get online and say something, everyone across the whole globe can immediately see that information. And this is really important for companies to be transparent and be aware of what's going on there as well. So, what is social media? I kind of get asked this sometimes, but normally people have a good idea of what it is. It's vast. It's a lot bigger than just Facebook and Twitter, unfortunately. They're some of the biggest in the UK, but we've got everything social media online. Anywhere where you can go online and give you a view or an opinion and someone else can read it is classed as social media. So there's around 300 million blogs online, and that's vastly growing every day as people write more and more information. And that's staggering that these are online. Often people can get on and, you know, you do a quick Google search and a blog would come up as the top post or the top hit for people to go and have a look at. And this is the power, and you know, people are really looking for information through blogs. Got things like message boards and forums. I often go online to have ask a question. You know, if I'm looking for a recommendation on a product, and I'll find something like, you know, answers.com will come back as the top result. And you know, that is social media. That's people giving their opinion and other people reading it, and it's really important from a brand perspective. Of course, there's video sites such as YouTube, and we know how powerful they can be when videos go viral. There's new ones coming up all the time. We've got photo sharing sites like Flickr, which are not to be underestimated as to the potential there. And even, there's a lot, but there's also things like comments pages. We're seeing on online traditional media, on press articles, where people are writing their views about the press article. Of course, that's social media as well, because you know, anyone can get on there and have a view now online.
These are different online retailers who have used social media and it's gone wrong, and some have done it really, really well. Okay, so let's just give you an idea. First off, we've got Outnet. Outnet is actually a sister company of Net-a-Porter, and they did the £1 sale, or $1 sale, depending where you were. And loads and loads of women took the Friday off work so they could get cheap designer dresses and things like that. And when it came to Friday, they got this error on their screen. So they started Outnet Stole My Friday Facebook page, and that the numbers of people who like that page increased dramatically. Loads of women going online, just spending loads of hate, basically. So it really, really went against them. If they'd had a listening tool, instead of been monitoring it, they could have actually just gone to the issues and apologised and dealt with it really, really quickly. ASOS, we've already spoken about this, but really, really, really use social media well. They're sort of listening to what their consumers want, knowing that a lot of young people these days are into music, they're into fashion, they're into social media, so they're taking certain parts of social media like Twitter, the microblog you can see there, they've got beauty and the bloggers, they're using celebrities, having competitions, getting people involved in their website. So people are now coming to them, they've got a really big online community integrating parts of social media. And spreading messages that way. So for them, they get a huge return on investment, and consumers are now sort of going straight to their site. Okay. Jimmy Choo, I'm sure quite a lot of you have heard of this. They launched a shoe hunt with Foursquare called Catch a Chew. And the great thing about this is it only cost them a few pairs of trainers, and it was really, really fun. And what they did was they posted pictures on Twitter and Facebook of where the shoes would be around London, and all you had to do is find the executive with the shoes, and you win a pair of shoes. But what they actually got from that was 200,000 fans on Facebook, 4,000 fans on Twitter, 4,000 people participated, and then they got loads of coverage in Vogue, PR Week, and sales actually went up by 33%. So there is a very clear connection with sort of using Facebook, Twitter, engaging with consumers through social media, and you can get a return on investment from it if you do it properly. It doesn't take much. Okay. Nestle, that's quite a bigger brand, it's not really an online retail, but this is a perfect example of how not to do social media. Okay. What happened was Greenpeace actually took their logo and used Killer instead of Kit Kat because they were using palm oil in their chocolate. And somebody at Nestle who was running the Facebook page said, to repeat, we welcome your comments, but please don't post using any altered version of our logos. They will be deleted. Then they go on to say, thanks for the lesson in manners, consider yourself embraced, but it's our page, we set the rules if it was ever thus. Then Paul Griffin down here says, your page, your rules, true, and you just lost a customer, won the battle and lost the war, happy? And then she says, oh please, it's like we're censoring everything to allow any positive comments. A few days later, somebody from corporate communications actually picked up on that and apologised. If they were actually watching social media and bothered about what was being said about them online, they could have dealt with this a lot quicker. Okay, so that's just how things can really snowball and really damage your reputation and how you're perceived. Okay, so we've come up with a basic 5-step strategy. You know what to do with social media. I know it's quite frightening, not knowing what to do with it. So first of all, figure out what you want to listen for. A lot of our clients just want to listen to what's being said about their brand. They just want to monitor their brand perception online. Some people like to, if they've got a range coming out, they like to see what people are saying about that. They're running a campaign, how effective is it being? Other people like to just tap into conversations around the industry. Okay, so if it's a telecommunications company, what are people saying? What are people saying about the competitors? Okay, so just figure it out. What do you want to listen for online? And then secondly, start listening. There's loads of listening tools out there. Okay, some are free tools, some are paid for tools, but it's up to you what suits you best. I think it's, if you're not really listening to what people are saying, I think a lot of people like to jump in first and just engage, but it's always good to take a few steps back and actually listen to what's being said so you can direct that engagement. And you can listen in real time as well. Thirdly, once you've got that listening tool in place or your strategy in place, analyse the data. So what are people saying? Is it positive, is it negative? What sort of demographics are talking about you? Are you reaching your target market? Okay, what are the trends happening online as well? Where you're distributed around the world in different markets, things like that, if you're a global company. Alright?
Sentiment analysis as well. These are big parts of social media listening tools, actually analysing the data and saying, are people talking about you in a good way? Are they talking about you in a bad way? And obviously, from customer relations, that could be quite useful to go and speak to the people, or even thank the people talking about you in a positive light as well. And comparing yourself against competitors. I've done EasyJet against Ryanair here, and you can see there's quite a big difference in how they're being talked about. EasyJet it's Ryanair, they're getting the most buzz being talked about themselves online. Whether that's always positive, we're never sure. They get talked about quite a lot. Flights. Yeah. But yeah, so benchmarking yourself against your competitors, seeing how you're perceived against your competitors, or doing product comparisons within your own individual products. Which one do people really like? Which ones are people talking about through social media is really important, and very simply and an easy way to do and get that feedback.
Okay. So just to finish off the 5-step strategy, once you've got to grips with listening to what people are saying, deciding what you want to analyse, whether it's demographics, whether it's sentiment, then you can move to the engagement side of things. So then you know where you want to do what you want to do with your Twitter page, you know what you want to do with your Facebook page, where you're going to put your blog, where you're going to put your online advertising banners, things like that. You know where the conversations are happening, so you can engage. You can be a transparent company, not like Nestle, who are transparent in the wrong way. And you can create communities. Burberry did the art of the trench coat, which is absolutely fantastic, and worked really, really well for them. ASOS got ASOS Life, which is their own social media community, which is really, really well done. And finally, from a more corporate level, I guess, you can use information to make better decisions. So direct marketing strategies, see what your competitors are doing, maybe redesigning products. So Panasonic launched a computer called Tough Book. When they looked at the themes and the words that were coming up, the word expensive came up a lot, because they were selling into construction sites and things like that. So they're able to go back to the drawing board and actually redesign the product and make it a lot cheaper.